Not all compliments are created equal. Some are nice but forgettable, simple, words that fade as quickly as they're heard. But then there are those rare compliments that leave a deeper mark. The kind that makes her pause, smile, and carry the thought with her long after. These aren't about surface-level flattery or empty charm. They are about recognition, authenticity, and making someone feel genuinely seen for who they are. When you give the right kind of compliment, it can spark more than just appreciation. It can create warmth, trust, and even a stronger emotional connection. In fact, this type of compliment often has more power than people realize. It can uplift her confidence, surprise her in meaningful ways, and even bring you closer together without a single forced effort. In this video, we'll explore 10 reasons why this one kind of compliment resonates so deeply and why it might affect her more than you think. Number 1, it makes her feel truly seen. In a world full of distractions, most people move so fast that they barely notice the details around them. Conversations are often rushed, gestures go unacknowledged, and people rarely pause long enough to truly observe each other. This is why the simple act of making someone feel seen carries such powerful weight. For a woman, being truly seen isn't about someone noticing her outfit, her hairstyle, or the way she looks in the moment. It's about something far deeper. It's about someone taking the time to look beyond the surface and acknowledge the qualities that make her who she is. Her thoughts, her efforts, her kindness, her resilience, and her unique way of moving through the world. This kind of recognition isn't common, which is why it feels so rare and so meaningful when it happens. It can light up her heart, stay in her memory, and strengthen the bond she feels towards the person who offered it. Let's explore the difference between looking at and truly seeing them. There's a big difference between looking at someone and truly seeing them. Looking is quick, almost automatic. Seeing, however, requires slowing down, paying attention, and connecting on a deeper level. When you truly see her, you notice small things. The way her tone softens when she talks about something meaningful, the light in her eyes when she discusses her passions, or the quiet strength she carries during difficult times. These are subtle cues, but acknowledging them tells her that you are present, not just glancing at the surface. Why it feels rare in today's world. In our fast-paced, distracted culture, genuine attention is rare. Phones buzz, schedules overflow, and conversations are often half-hearted. Because of this, moments of deep recognition stand out. When you pause to really see her, to listen without rushing, and to notice the quality she brings to the table, it sets you apart. In a sea of noise and distraction, the gift of undivided attention feels extraordinary. That rarity makes the moment memorable and deeply appreciated. How it builds emotional safety. When someone feels truly seen, they feel safe being themselves. There's no need to put on a mask, to exaggerate, or to prove anything. This sense of emotional security is vital in building trust. For a woman, it means she can relax into her authentic self. She knows she's valued not for performance, perfection, or appearances, but for who she truly is. This sense of security strengthens bonds and allows relationships, whether friendships, family, or deeper connections, to grow on solid ground. The ripple effect on confidence. A sincere acknowledgement can ripple through her confidence in surprising ways. Being seen reinforces that she's on the right path, that her values matter, and that her choices have meaning. It's not about inflating ego, it's about grounding her in truth. When she hears words that reflect her genuine character, she can carry that recognition into new challenges, facing them with greater assurance. This boost doesn't come from flattery, but from authenticity. It shows true presence. To make someone feel seen requires presence, being in the moment without distractions. In a time when many people feel ignored or half listened to, presence itself becomes a powerful form of respect. If she feels you're present with her, she feels valued. This presence communicates you matter enough for me to put everything else aside and really notice you. That more than anything else is what makes her light up inside. The subtle power of specificity. Vague compliments are easily forgotten, but specific observations linger. Instead of saying, "You're great," you might notice you always find a way to stay calm, even when things get difficult. This level of detail proves that you've been paying attention. Specificity shows depth, and depth shows sincerity. That's why such recognition feels so powerful. It's not just a passing comment, but evidence of true observation. Why feeling seen is so memorable. Long after the moment passes, she may not remember the exact words you said, but she will remember the feeling of being seen. It's an emotional imprint, something that lingers and resurfaces when she recalls the experience. That memory is powerful because it's tied to not superficiality, but to something deeper, the validation of her humanity, her character, and her presence in the world. Number 2, it feels genuine, not forced. In today's world where so many interactions are quick, surface level, and sometimes scripted, genuine moments stand out more than ever. When something feels natural, unforced, and sincere, it carries a weight that cannot be manufactured. Whether in friendships, family connections, or professional relationships, authenticity speaks louder than any carefully rehearsed line or calculated gesture. This sense of genuineness is what makes people feel at ease, safe, and valued. It creates a space where trust can grow because nothing seems staged. Let's explore why this matters so deeply and the ways in which we recognize and respond to it. 1. True intentions shine through. When something is genuine, the intention behind it is clear. A person isn't doing or saying something to get attention, praise, or personal gain. Instead, they are acting from a place of sincerity. For example, a compliment feels different when it's spoken without expecting anything in return. It feels lighter, warmer, and more trustworthy. On the other hand, when gestures are forced, they can feel rehearsed, as if someone is just going through the motions. Genuineness comes from alignment between thought, word, and action. You can sense when someone means what they say. It carries a natural weight. Number 2, comfort in natural flow. A genuine interaction doesn't feel heavy or awkward. It flows naturally without pressure. You don't feel like you're being sold an idea or pushed into a reaction. When laughter comes easily without anyone trying too hard, it's genuine. When silence feels comfortable instead of strained, it shows authenticity in the connection. This natural rhythm makes relationships more meaningful because no one is forcing a performance. Number 3, trust is built more easily. People can sense when something is authentic. We might not always be able to explain why, but the human mind is skilled at detecting sincerity. When we recognize that an action or statement is genuine, trust begins to form. For instance, if someone apologizes sincerely, it feels different than when someone says sorry out of obligation. Real trust grows when words and actions consistently match. That's why authenticity is the foundation of strong, lasting connections. Number 4, unforced actions feel more valuable. Think about the difference between someone helping you because they truly want to versus someone doing it reluctantly. The first fills you with gratitude because you know it came from the heart. The second, while still helpful, feels less meaningful because it was pushed rather than freely given. When things are genuine, their value is multiplied not because of the action itself, but because of the intent behind it. Number 5, people relax around authenticity. When interactions feel real, people let their guard down. There's no need to overthink, no fear of hidden motives. This creates an environment of ease. Forced energy often creates tension because people sense that something is off. Genuine energy, by contrast, is calming. It reassures others that they are being seen and accepted without manipulation. That's why authenticity is magnetic. People are naturally drawn to it. Number 6, consistency over performance. One key sign of something genuine is consistency. A person who is authentic doesn't need to put on a show. Their words and behavior align across situations. If kindness is only shown when others are watching, it feels forced. But when kindness is present, even in small unseen moments, it proves sincerity. Consistency creates a quiet strength that cannot be faked. Number 7, real emotion cannot be imitated perfectly. You can imitate a smile, but you can't fully imitate the warmth in the eyes that comes with real joy. You can copy the words of concern, but you can't fake the subtle tone of genuine care. Humans are naturally tuned to these differences. We feel authenticity not just in what is said, but in how it's expressed. That's why genuine gestures stay in our memory. They carry emotional truth. Number 8, depth comes from genuineness. Surface-level interactions might be pleasant, but they don't leave a deep mark. What we remember are the genuine moments, times when someone really meant what they said, or an act of kindness came without expectation. Forced interactions may pass quickly, but genuine ones build stories, connections, and meaning that last. Number 9, authenticity encourages reciprocity. When one person is genuine, it often inspires the other to be the same. Authenticity spreads. It invites openness, honesty, and trust. For example, if someone shares their thoughts in a real, unpolished way, it encourages others to do the same. When sincerity is present, masks begin to fall and conversations reach a deeper level. This reciprocity is how meaningful bonds are formed. And number 10, lasting impact over temporary impression. Forced actions often aim to create a short-term impression, but genuine ones create a lasting impact. You might forget words that were said out of habit, but you remember the moments when someone truly meant what they said. A genuine connection doesn't need constant effort to maintain. It endures naturally because it was built on truth. That's why authenticity outlives performance. Number 3, it acknowledges effort, not just outcome. Compliments are often thought of as simple, polite gestures, a quick way to make someone smile or feel noticed. But, in truth, the way a compliment is framed can carry much deeper meaning. A remark about someone's achievement or results is nice, but it can sometimes feel shallow, as if only the visible success matters. On the other hand, when you take the time to acknowledge effort, dedication, and the unseen work behind the outcome, you touch a part of the person's identity that often goes unnoticed. You're not just celebrating what they did, you're recognizing who they are in the process. This kind of acknowledgement matters more than people realize. It can shift the way someone feels about themselves, about you, and even about the value of perseverance. Let's explore why focusing on effort instead of just outcome carries such profound weight, and why it leaves such a lasting impact. 1, effort is often invisible to others. When we see someone achieve something, whether it's a promotion, a creative project, or simply handling a tough situation gracefully, we usually see only the end result, the hours of preparation, the doubts they battled, the moments they almost gave up. Those details often remain hidden. That's why a compliment that highlights effort can feel so powerful. It tells the person, I noticed more than just the surface. I see the journey behind the finish line. This kind of recognition brings relief. It reassures them that their hard work wasn't just for the final outcome, but also respect it as a process of dedication. Number 2, it validates personal growth, not just success. Success can sometimes feel fleeting, but growth lasts. When you recognize effort, you highlight the progress someone has made, even if the results weren't perfect. For example, telling a student, I'm impressed by how much focus you put into preparing for that exam, is far more empowering than saying, good job on your grade. The first statement values consistency and determination. The second only values the number on the paper. Acknowledging effort nurtures a growth mindset, reinforcing the belief that learning, persistence, and resilience are worth celebrating even more than the outcome itself. Number 3, it builds lasting confidence. Compliments based solely on results can sometimes feel fragile. If success fades, does the person's worth fade too? But when you acknowledge effort, you tie their value to their character and actions, not just external measures. Hearing, I admire how hard you've worked to get here, builds lasting confidence because it connects identity with perseverance. Even if outcomes vary, the recognition of effort strengthens self-belief. It reminds them that they are capable, disciplined, and worthy regardless of temporary setbacks. Number 4, it encourages resilience in difficult times. Life isn't always about winning, achieving, or producing perfect outcomes. Everyone faces failure, disappointment, or struggles along the way. That's when acknowledgement of effort becomes most important. Imagine someone who worked tirelessly on a project that didn't succeed, telling them, "I can see how much dedication you put into this," can lift their spirit far more than ignoring the situation or offering pity. This type of recognition makes them feel seen in their struggle. It encourages them to keep trying, knowing that their perseverance is valued even if the results didn't shine. Number 5, it strengthens emotional bonds. Complimenting effort shows that you're paying attention not just to what someone achieves, but to who they are when no one is watching. That kind of observation creates trust and intimacy in relationships. When you recognize someone's patience, discipline, or kindness, you show that you're not looking at them superficially, you're appreciating their depth. This creates a stronger emotional connection because people long to be valued for more than their outward achievements. Number 6, it shifts focus from perfection to progress. Many people, especially in today's world, feel pressure to be perfect. Compliments that focus only on results can unintentionally reinforce that pressure, but when you acknowledge effort, you normalize the idea that progress is more important than flawless results. This is especially meaningful in environments like schools, workplaces, or personal development. A culture that celebrates effort motivates people to keep improving without being paralyzed by the fear of failure. Number 7, it honors qualities that can't always be measured. Outcomes are easy to measure: grades, promotions, trophies, or finished products. But qualities like perseverance, kindness, discipline, and consistency are harder to see. Complimenting effort shines a light on these invisible qualities. For instance, saying, "I admire how patiently you handled that situation," acknowledges a strength that might otherwise go unnoticed. This type of validation reassures people that the less visible parts of themselves, their quiet strength, their steady commitment, also matter. Number 8, it inspires continued motivation. Compliments act as fuel. When someone hears, "I respect the effort you've been putting in," it creates momentum. It tells them that their dedication is paying off, not just in results, but in recognition. This motivation is especially powerful because it's not tied to external rewards. It becomes internalized, making the person more likely to keep striving, learning, and improving even when the path is difficult. Number 9, it makes recognition more personal. Generic compliments are easy to give, but they don't always land deeply. Acknowledging effort requires paying attention to details. The late nights, the thoughtful choices, the perseverance in the face of obstacles. Because of that, effort-based compliments feel personal and tailored. They tell the person, "I notice you, I appreciate you, I value the person you're becoming." This personal touch makes the compliment not just nice, but unforgettable. Number 10, it reflects true respect. Ultimately, acknowledging effort is about respect. It shows that you see the value of the journey, not just the destination. You respect the discipline, patience, and commitment it takes for someone to keep moving forward. This form of recognition is more than flattery, it's honor. It treats the person as a whole human being, not just a performer of results. That depth of respect is what makes the compliment resonate so deeply. Number 4, it builds emotional safety. When people talk about meaningful relationships, whether friendships, family bonds, or deeper partnerships, one element always comes up: emotional safety. Without it, no relationship can truly grow. With it, trust deepens, connection becomes natural, and both people feel free to be themselves. But what exactly does it mean when we say it builds emotional safety? Let's explore the reasons why emotional safety matters so much and the signs that show it's being created. 1, It allows people to be authentic. When emotional safety exists, a person doesn't feel the need to hide parts of themselves. They can share their opinions, quirks, and even insecurities without fearing judgment or rejection. This authenticity is powerful because it removes the mask many people wear in daily life. It creates a bond built on truth, not performance. The more someone feels safe to be real, the stronger the connection becomes. 2. It encourages honest communication. In an environment of emotional safety, words are not weapons. People know they can speak up, express concerns, and share feelings without being attacked or dismissed. Instead of bottling things up, they choose openness. This doesn't mean every conversation is easy. It means that even difficult topics can be discussed without fear of emotional harm. 3. It reduces fear of rejection. At the core of most human relationships lies one quiet fear. If I show too much of myself, will I be rejected? Emotional safety dissolves that fear. When someone knows they will not be pushed away for being vulnerable, it builds security. That assurance makes people more willing to invest time, trust, and care into the relationship. 4. It fosters growth and healing. A safe emotional space allows people not only to share joys, but also to confront wounds. Many individuals carry old disappointments, past mistakes, or hidden pain. When they feel emotionally safe, they don't just cover those wounds, they can finally begin to heal them. The relationship becomes a place of encouragement where growth is possible. 5. It strengthens trust over time. Trust is not built overnight, it's the result of consistent actions. Emotional safety is the soil where that trust grows. Each time one listens without judgment, keeps a confidence, or responds with empathy, trust strengthens over time. It creates an unshakable bond that can withstand challenges. 6. It encourages mutual respect. Emotional safety also means that boundaries are honored. No one is forced to share more than they are ready for. No one feels pressured into being someone they are not. That respect sends a clear message. Your comfort matters here. When both sides feel respected, the relationship becomes a place of mutual care, not control. 7. It deepens emotional connection. When people feel safe, they naturally open up more. Conversations become richer, laughter becomes easier, and silence becomes comfortable rather than awkward. This deeper connection transforms relationships from surface-level interactions into bonds that feel lasting and meaningful. 8. It provides stability during conflict. Disagreements are natural, but they can be destructive if emotional safety is missing. In a safe space, conflict does not threaten the relationship, it strengthens it. Instead of turning against each other, both sides work through challenges together. This stability reassures both people that even hard moments won't break the bond. 9. It creates a foundation of belonging. At the heart of emotional safety is the feeling of belonging. Humans crave to be part of something where they are valued not for what they achieve, but for who they are. This sense of belonging is what makes a relationship feel like a refuge, a place where someone can come as they are and know they will still be accepted. 10. It makes the relationship lasting. Without emotional safety, relationships often fade because they feel fragile and unreliable. But when safety is present, bonds endure. This is why emotional safety is not just nice to have, it is essential. It turns ordinary connections into lasting ones. Number 5. V. It surprises her in the best way. There's something special about the power of surprise. Not the kind that shocks or startles, but the gentle kind that warms the heart and leaves someone smiling. A thoughtful compliment, a kind gesture, or even a small act of noticing what others miss can bring a wave of joy that she didn't expect. When a woman receives a compliment that catches her off guard in a positive way, it can light up her mood more than she might admit. This isn't about grand gestures or dramatic words, It's about the authenticity, timing, and uniqueness of the moment. A compliment that feels fresh and unexpected has the power to stand out, especially in a world where most compliments sound the same. In this article, we'll explore why this kind of surprise is so powerful, how it works on an emotional and psychological level, and why it can strengthen bonds and connections more than any rehearsed or generic words ever could. Number 1, because it breaks the pattern of the usual. Most people are used to hearing the same kinds of compliments. You look nice today. That's a good dress. I like your hair. While these are kind and appreciated, they often feel predictable. They don't stay in memory for long. But when a compliment breaks that pattern, when it acknowledges something less obvious, like her perseverance in handling a stressful situation or the way she brings calmness into a room, it feels new. And because it's new, it lingers. Unexpected words stand out because they don't blend into the background noise. They feel intentional, and she remembers them long after. 2, it shows you notice the details others miss. The most surprising, compliments aren't about the obvious, they're about the hidden. Maybe you noticed how she always remembers small details about others, or how she lifts people's spirits without trying. When you notice the qualities she usually don't get recognition for, it sparks surprise. Why? Because most people overlook them. She didn't expect anyone to pick up on those little things. That sense of being noticed deeply is what makes the compliment resonate. It's like shining a light on something she thought was invisible. 3, it feels more genuine than routine words. Because it's unexpected, the compliment feels less like habit and more like thought. Routine words are easy to say, but surprising compliments feel intentional, like you really took time to observe and mean what you said. And genuine recognition carries a weight that surface-level flattery cannot carry. She knows instantly that it wasn't just said out of politeness. It was said because you truly saw something in her worth acknowledging. 4, it creates a moment of emotional spark. Surprise, when positive, has the power to spark emotion. That little lift of joy, that sudden rush of warmth, it's almost like opening a gift you didn't expect. When a compliment catches her off guard in this way, it makes the experience memorable. Long after the moment passes, she might recall that feeling because emotions are tied to memory. The spark creates a mental bookmark that ordinary words can't achieve. 5, it breaks through her inner doubts. Many people, no matter how confident they appear, carry quiet doubts about themselves. She may question her abilities, her presence, or her impact on others. A surprising compliment can pierce through those doubts. For example, if she secretly worries that her kindness goes unnoticed, hearing someone acknowledge it can be a powerful shift. It not only surprises her but also reassures her that the qualities she values truly matter. This makes the compliment both uplifting and healing. 6, it reinforces that you're paying attention. One of the most meaningful aspects of a surprising compliment is what it says without words. I'm paying attention to you. In a fast-paced world where many interactions are shallow, attention itself feels rare. When you offer a compliment that shows awareness of her actions, values, or growth, it demonstrates that she's not just blending into the background. You truly see her. This kind of attention creates a sense of importance and connection that ordinary compliments simply don't achieve. 7, it highlights qualities she secretly values. Often the compliments that surprise her most are the ones that mirror what she values in herself, but doesn't always hear from others. For instance, if she's proud to be dependable, but doesn't get recognized for it, telling her, "I really admire how steady and reliable you are," may strike deeper than 1,000 surface compliments. The surprise comes from the alignment. Hearing someone notice the very thing she quietly holds as important makes her feel both validated and appreciated. 8, it creates a Nicot 8. It creates a personal and unique feeling. Generic compliments can feel like they could be said to anyone, but a surprising compliment feels personal, tailored, and specific to her. That uniqueness makes the compliment far more meaningful. If you say you always bring a calm energy when things get chaotic, she knows you're not just repeating something you say to everyone, you're speaking to something uniquely hers. That personal touch is what makes it stand out in her mind. 9. It strengthens emotional bonds without effort. Surprise carries an emotional charge that often deepens connections naturally. You don't have to overthink or overplan it. The authenticity of the moment itself builds trust and closeness. When someone feels unexpectedly appreciated, it lowers walls, softens guardedness, and allows a more genuine connection to form. It's less about charm and more about honesty. And honesty, when combined with surprise, is incredibly powerful. 10. It creates a lasting memory. At the heart of it all, surprising compliments create lasting impressions. While ordinary words fade, unexpected, recognition tends to stay in her memory. She may recall it later on in moments of doubt or even years down the road, and because it may her feel seen in a unique way, it becomes part of the way she remembers you too. It's not about impressing her, it's about giving her a moment of recognition that she carries forward. Number 2, it touches something she values about herself. A compliment only becomes truly meaningful when it reaches beyond the surface and touches something a person values deeply about themselves. When you notice and acknowledge qualities that someone takes pride in, it does more than flatter, it affirms their identity. For a woman, this kind of recognition can feel powerful because it shows that you see her not just for how she appears, but for who she really is. Here are some reasons why acknowledging what she values about herself leaves such a lasting impression. 1. It shows you see beyond the surface. Many compliments people receive are surface level about appearance, style, or something obvious. But when you touch on something she values deeply, like her kindness, resilience, or intelligence, it shows you're paying attention at a deeper level. This makes her feel truly seen, not just noticed. 2. It validates her identity. Every woman carries traits she takes pride in, whether it's her patience, her creativity, or her determination. When you compliment those traits, you validate the way she sees herself. It strengthens her sense of identity and makes her feel appreciated for the things that matter most to her. 3. It recognizes effort, not just outcome. Many of the qualities people value about themselves are the result of effort, years of personal growth, discipline, or intentional choices. By acknowledging these, you're not just praising the end result, but the journey it took to get there. This type of recognition carries a deeper weight. 4. It builds a sense of respect. When you compliment something she values about herself, you're showing respect for who she is at her core. It tells her that you hold those traits in high regard too. Respect always goes further than admiration because it recognizes her worth as a whole person. 5. It encourages her strengths. A thoughtful compliment can reinforce the very qualities she treasures in herself. For example, telling a woman who values her independence that you admire her confidence can encourage her to continue embracing that strength. Compliments like this act as a mirror reflecting back her own best qualities. 6. It feels personal and genuine. Generic compliments can feel forgettable, but when you speak to what she values about herself, the words feel personal, unique, and genuine. It shows that you didn't just say something to fill the silence, but that you noticed something distinct about her character. 7. It creates an emotional connection. When someone touches on the qualities you hold dear, it creates an emotional bond for her. Hearing that you appreciate her values or traits bridges the gap between casual conversation and meaningful connection. It makes the interaction memorable and heartfelt. 8. It reinforces her confidence. Even the most confident person sometimes doubts their strengths. A compliment that touches on what she values most reassures her that those qualities are not only real, but also appreciated by others. It strengthens her confidence in a way that's uplifting and lasting. 9. It acknowledges her true self. Everyone wants to be recognized for who they are beneath the surface. By complimenting the traits she treasures, you affirm her authentic self. It tells her she doesn't need to change, impress, or prove herself because the qualities she values are already shining through. Now 10. It leaves a lasting impact. Surface-level compliments fade quickly, but recognition of a valued trait stays with her. Days, weeks, or even years later, she may remember how you noticed something important about her. That kind of impact is rare, and it builds a meaningful impression that lasts. Number 7. It sets you apart from others. Compliments are common in daily life. We hear them at work, among friends, in passing conversations, or even from strangers. Most are kind, some are polite, and others are automatic. A quick word meant to acknowledge or encourage. But here's the truth. Not all compliments are equal. Some pass by unnoticed, while others stay with us for days, months, or even years. And what makes certain compliments unforgettable isn't the cleverness of the words or even how often they're said. It's the depth behind them. A compliment that speaks to someone's true character or unique qualities has the power to set you apart from everyone else. In a world where words can feel cheap or routine, the ability to give a compliment that resonates deeply is rare. It communicates attentiveness, sincerity, and emotional intelligence, qualities that people don't encounter every day. Let's explore why this happens, how it works, and why offering a thoughtful compliment can set you apart in ways that go far beyond the moment itself. 1. Most people only notice the obvious. Think for a moment about the compliments most people give. They tend to focus on things that are immediately visible: clothing, appearance, or some surface detail. I like your outfit. Your haircut looks nice. That color looks good on you. These are fine. They're kind and can brighten someone's mood, but they're not lasting. They don't reach deeper into who a person really is. Because of that, they feel replaceable. Nearly anyone could say them, and that makes them easy to forget. Now, imagine a different type of compliment. I admire how patient you were in that stressful situation. The way you explained that problem made it so much easier to understand. You have a calming presence. People feel comfortable around you. These are not surface level. They notice character, ability, and influence. Show that you are really paying attention, not just looking at what's obvious. And because they are less common, they instantly set you apart from the average interaction. 2. Depth shows you're paying attention. People want to feel noticed, not just looked at, but truly seen. This means being recognized for qualities, habits, and efforts that others overlook. When you give a compliment that reflects depth, you're telling someone, I notice more than the surface. I see the effort, the intention behind what you do. For example, complimenting someone on how they carry themselves through challenges is different from complimenting their results. Saying, you handled that situation with such grace, acknowledges something most people ignore. This depth matters because attentiveness is rare. In a world filled with distraction, someone who actually notices details immediately stands out. 3. Thoughtful compliments feel personal. A generic compliment could be given to anyone, but a thoughtful one feels personal. It ties directly to that person's actions, words, or qualities. Think of the difference. Generic, you're smart, thoughtful. The way you broke down that complex idea made it so easy to follow. You have a gift for explaining things. The second example isn't just a compliment, it's recognition. It shows that you are paying attention to how she did something, not just the end result. And when a compliment feels personal, it feels real. And realness is what makes people remember it and the person who gave it. Number 4, uniqueness makes your words stand out. When someone hears the same type of compliment over and over, it begins to lose its meaning. If she hears, you look nice, 10 times in a week, those words blend into background noise. But if you offer a compliment that highlights something unique, her ability to make people laugh at just the right moment, her consistency in keeping promises, or the way she makes others feel included, it instantly rises above the rest. Uniqueness always captures attention. Just as a rare song DS out in a playlist, a unique compliment, lingers because it's uncommon. And when your words are different, you become different in her eyes. Number 5, genuine words carry more weight. Everyone has experienced empty compliments. Words said without thought, sincerity, or meaning. They feel hollow and sometimes they even create doubt. But a genuine compliment, it carries undeniable weight. People can feel authenticity. It comes through in tone, in timing, in the fact that your words aren't rushed or forced. A genuine compliment shines brighter than a dozen casual ones. Why? Because truth leaves an imprint. When your words reflect honesty, they cannot be easily dismissed. And when honesty is paired with attentiveness, you stand out as someone trustworthy. Number 6, it builds trust without effort. Trust doesn't always need grand actions. Sometimes it's built in small, consistent moments like being genuine, being present, and noticing things that others overlook. When you give a thoughtful compliment, you're signaling respect and honesty. Over time, this builds quiet trust. She begins to sense that your words are never just for show, but reflections of what you really see. That kind of trust is powerful. It means you're not just another voice among many. You're someone whose words carry weight, and that is what sets you apart. Number 7, it connects you emotionally. A well-placed compliment does more than highlight a quality. It creates an emotional connection. People remember not only what you said, but also how your words made you feel. Think of the last time someone gave you a meaningful compliment. Chances are you don't just remember the words, you remember the warmth, the surprise, or the encouragement you felt. That emotional spark is what makes certain compliments unforgettable. And when someone associates those positive emotions with you, it deepens the connection between you. 8, it proves you value substance. In a fast-moving world where surface impressions dominate, valuing substance makes you rare. Complimenting someone's perseverance, kindness, or wisdom shows that you respect depth. For example, instead of praising just an achievement, you might acknowledge the discipline it took to reach it. Instead of complimenting how she speaks, you might recognize the thoughtfulness behind her words. By valuing substance, you demonstrate maturity. You show that you can see beyond appearances into what actually makes a person who they are, and that makes you unforgettable. Number 9. It leaves a lasting impression. What makes someone stand out isn't always grand gestures. Sometimes it's the subtle things that remain in memory long after the moment passes. A compliment tied to someone's identity, something they value about themselves, can last a lifetime. She may recall it months or even years later, smiling at how someone noticed what truly mattered to her. The reason is simple. Identity-based compliments validate who a person believes them to be. And when someone reflects back that truth, it creates a lasting impression. Number 10. It reflects who you are. The kind of compliment you give reveals just as much about you as it does about the person receiving it. When your words are thoughtful, respectful, and genuine, they reveal character. They show that you are empathetic, observant, and grounded. People naturally respect and gravitate toward those who embody these qualities. In this way, the compliment isn't just setting you apart because of what you said. It's setting you apart because of who you are. Real-life example, the compliment that stayed. Consider this story. A woman once recalled how during a particularly stressful time in her career, she was juggling multiple responsibilities. Most people around her either didn't notice or only commented on the outcomes. But one colleague quietly told her, "I admire how you stay steady even when everything around you feels chaotic. It makes it easier for the rest of us." Years later, she still remembered those words. Why? Because they weren't about her appearance, her success, or her position. They were about her presence and character. That colleague set himself apart not because he said a lot, but because he said something meaningful. Why it matters. In the end, what makes a compliment powerful isn't the cleverness of the phrase or the timing. It's the thought behind it, People crave recognition that feels real. They want to know that others notice the things they value most in themselves. When you offer a compliment that goes beyond the surface, you're doing more than giving encouragement. You're saying, I see you, I value you, and I respect what makes you unique. That's why it sets you apart from others. Number 8, it strengthens her self-worth. In every person's life, there comes a point when the way they see themselves either builds them up or holds them back. Self-worth is at the heart of that perception. It is not the same as arrogance or pride, nor is it shallow self-esteem based on fleeting compliments. True self-worth is a steady inner assurance that one's value does not depend entirely on external conditions, roles, or achievements. When a woman's self-worth is strengthened, it brings positive changes not only to her inner life, but also to her relationships, career, and overall well-being. It helps her feel grounded in who she is and encourages her to step into the world with quiet confidence. This article explores why strengthening a woman's self-worth matters, how it manifests in everyday life, and the lasting effects it can have on her journey. Number 1, she learns she is more than her roles. Many women carry multiple roles in life. She may be a professional, a student, a mother, a partner, a daughter, or a friend. Often, she is many of these at once. Society sometimes measures her value by how well she performs within those roles. If she succeeds in her job, raises her children well, or supports those around her, she is praised. But when she struggles, or when she chooses a different path, she may feel overlooked. Strengthening her self-worth means reminding her that she is valuable even outside of these roles. Her worth is not dependent on whether she fulfills others' expectations. She exists with value simply because she is a person with dignity, emotions, thoughts, and potential. When she understands this, she begins to release the pressure of being everything to everyone. She learns she does not have to constantly prove her worth through service or sacrifice. Instead, she can embrace the truth that she matters in her own right. Number 2, she trusts her own voice. Doubt often follows women when they feel unheard in conversations, workplaces, or even within families. Some women are taught directly or indirectly to hold back their opinions. Over time, this can cause her to second-guess her instincts or minimize her ideas. Strengthening her self-worth restores the power of her voice. When her thoughts are acknowledged and taken seriously, she learns that her perspective carries weight. This does not mean she must always be right or that others must always agree. Rather, it means her input has a place at the table. This builds her courage to speak with more clarity, to stand firm in her convictions, and to trust her own judgment. Over time, it allows her to navigate life decisions without being paralyzed by fear of disapproval. She grows into someone who can listen to advice, yet still honor her own inner compass. Number 3, her efforts are valued, not just results. Much of the modern world celebrates visible achievements. Awards, promotions, and recognition are often tied to success that can be measured. While these are important, they can also overshadow the quiet, unseen efforts that happen behind the scenes. When her self-worth is strengthened, she begins to see that effort is just as important as results. She learns that dedication, persistence, and consistency hold value, even if outcomes are not always perfect. For example, a woman studying for years, raising children patiently, or building a small project deserves appreciation even before others see the end product. Acknowledging effort reminds her that she is not defined by whether she wins or loses. Her worth comes from the process of showing up, trying, and persevering. This shift frees her from the exhausting chase of perfection and allows her to celebrate progress along the way. Number 5, she understands respect is not conditional. Unfortunately, many women are treated with respect only when they meet certain standards, whether physical, social, or professional. This conditional treatment can create the false belief that dignity must be earned. Strengthening her self-worth reminds her that respect is not something to beg for. It is something she inherently deserves as a human being. When she experiences consistent respect, regardless of her appearance, status, or achievements, she internalizes this truth. This realization gives her confidence to walk away from relationships, environments, or jobs that deny her dignity. It also empowers her to demand fair treatment without fear of losing her identity. Respect then becomes not a privilege but a baseline expectation in her life. Number 6, she establishes healthy boundaries. One of the clearest signs of strong self-worth is the ability to say no when necessary. Many women feel pressure to always be available, agreeable, or accommodating. While kindness is a strength, overextending herself often leads to burnout, resentment, or loss of identity. Strengthening her self-worth teaches her that boundaries are not barriers, they are acts of self-respect. By setting limits, she preserves her energy and ensures that her kindness is given freely, not forced. For example, she may learn to say no to extra responsibilities at work when she is already overwhelmed, or she may limit interactions with people who drain her emotionally. These boundaries protect her well-being and affirm that her needs are as important as anyone else's. Number 7, she handles criticism with balance. Criticism, whether constructive or harsh, is something everyone encounters. For someone with fragile self-worth, criticism feels like an attack on her identity. It can cause deep hurt, leading to withdrawal or self-doubt. But with strength and self-worth, she gains perspective. She can accept useful feedback without letting it crush her confidence. She learns to separate her actions from her identity, understanding that making a mistake does not make her worthless. This balanced approach allows her to grow without fear. She sees criticism as a tool for improvement rather than a weapon of rejection. Over time, this resilience becomes a core strength, enabling her to face challenges with calm and maturity. Number 9, it creates an emotional spark. Compliments have always played an important role in human interaction. They are more than words. They are signals of recognition, care, and attention. While many compliments are pleasant, some go deeper than just making someone smile in the moment. They create something that lingers long after the feeling of an emotional spark. This spark is not about charm or flattery, it is about connection. It is the little surge of warmth that spreads when someone feels truly seen and valued. Unlike surface-level comments that can be easily forgotten, an authentic compliment carries an energy that awakens something inside, almost like lighting a candle in the heart. In this article, we will explore in detail why a compliment creates an emotional spark, how it resonates differently than ordinary praise, and why this spark can matter so much in human relationships. Number 1, the power of feeling seen. At the root of every emotional spark is recognition. When a compliment highlights something meaningful, whether it's kindness, effort, or thoughtfulness, it tells the person, "I notice you." Many people move through the day unnoticed. They may work hard, care for others, or carry themselves with quiet strength, yet their efforts are rarely acknowledged. So, when someone points it out, it cuts through the noise. For example, imagine a woman who always goes out of her way to encourage her colleagues. If someone compliments her patience or her ability to lift people's spirits, it strikes a deeper chord than just saying, "nice outfit." It tells her that her true qualities are being seen and valued. That recognition itself ignites a spark inside her because being understood is one of the deepest human desires. Number 2, the spark of authenticity. Compliments only create sparks when they feel genuine. A forced or shallow remark rarely resonates, but when words carry truth and sincerity, they create an emotional charge. Authenticity works like a mirror. When someone expresses a compliment that feels real, the listener doesn't just hear the words, they feel the intention behind them. This authenticity gives weight to the compliment, making it unforgettable. For instance, saying, "You're really dedicated to your work," feels far more personal and impactful if it's based on real observation. She feels the compliment not just in her ears but in her heart because it carries honesty. That honesty is what makes the spark come alive. Number 3. Why effort matters more than outcome. Compliments that focus on effort often light a stronger spark than those only focused on results. Why? Because effort is tied to identity. Results can be accidental, but effort reveals values, persistence, and character. When you notice her consistency, her creativity, or the way she handles challenges, it connects to who she is, not just to what she has achieved. That recognition makes her proud of her own journey. The spark comes from knowing that someone not only sees what she does, but appreciates the deeper qualities driving her actions. Number 4. The role of emotional safety. An emotional spark also arises from feeling safe. A compliment, when delivered respectfully and without expectations, reassures her that she can be her authentic self. It becomes less about impressing and more about acceptance. When she feels safe in your words, she opens up emotionally. That openness itself can create warmth, a quiet spark that makes her want to engage more freely. It is not just a compliment, but the environment it creates that fosters connection. Number 5. The beauty of surprise. A spark often comes when a compliment is unexpected. Most people are accustomed to hearing the same types of praise on appearance, success, or obvious qualities. But when someone highlights something overlooked, it can feel surprising in the best way. That surprise creates an emotional shift. It interrupts the ordinary flow of interactions and makes her stop and think, "Wow, he really noticed that." That unexpected recognition is often what lingers the longest. For example, telling her, "I admire the way you always stay calm under pressure," may surprise her more than commenting on her smile. That uniqueness is what creates the spark. Number 6. Affirming what she values about herself. The most powerful spark comes when a compliment reflects something she already treasures about herself. If she prides herself on being thoughtful, resilient, or dependable, and you affirm it, it feels like alignment. This type of compliment is powerful because it validates her inner identity. It tells her that the qualities she works hard to live by are visible to others. That alignment between how she sees herself and how you see her is what fuels the emotional spark. It creates harmony. Number 7. Why emotional sparks feel different. An emotional spark feels different from other forms of praise. It is not about excitement alone, but about resonance. The words settle into her memory and become part of her inner world. Think of it like striking a chord on a guitar. A random note may sound pleasant, but when you hit the exact right chord, the whole instrument vibrates. Similarly, the right compliment hits the right chord inside her, creating resonance that lasts. That's why emotional sparks are remembered. Days or even years later, she might still recall that one genuine compliment because it connected to something meaningful. Number 8. The science of positive emotion. From a psychological perspective, compliments that create sparks trigger emotional chemicals in the brain. Words of affirmation can boost serotonin and dopamine, neurochemicals linked with mood and connection. This is not manipulation. It's natural human psychology. When someone feels appreciated, their brain rewards them with a sense of joy. That's why the spark feels uplifting. It's not just emotional, it's also biological. Number 9. How sparks deepen relationships. When a compliment creates an emotional spark, it does more than brighten her day. It strengthens the bond between you. She begins to associate your presence with warmth and positivity. Over time, these sparks build trust and emotional intimacy. This does not mean every compliment must be profound. But when you occasionally say something that touches her at the core, it makes your connection stand out. She feels that with you there is depth, not just surface-level interaction. Number 10. Why sparks are rare and valuable. The truth is, not many compliments create emotional sparks. Most are fleeting, polite, or routine. That's why, when someone offers a genuine, thoughtful one, it stands out. Because of its rarity, this spark becomes valuable. She may carry it with her, reflect on it during quiet moments, and even let it shift the way she sees herself. In this way, one authentic compliment can have a lasting impact far beyond the moment it's spoken,